the last fishing video I made, I messed up quite a bit. I missed fishing food and also fishing rod enchantments. So today I'm gonna try to redeem myself and rate fishing foods. I'll rate them based on how difficult they're crafted, how good they are. Yeah, we'll see what kind of food is basically our daily food for fishing. And yeah, let's jump right into it. First of all, we have clam chowder. Where is it? Clam chowder. Clam. No, it's just chowder actually. Do I not have the recipe?
One eternity later.
So chowder gives you one fishing. It's only a clam and milk, which is very easy to get. Clam is everywhere on the beach. You could get them from crab pots as well. And it gives quite a decent energy, although it does give the same energy as cheese, a gold cheese, which derived from large milk, but this one is a small milk. So if you have spare small milks, like a bunch of them that you don't use for cheese, and you have some spare clams, then it's pretty useful. It gives you quite a ton of energy. Just keep in mind, because it gives one fishing, it cannot be like a replacement for cheese, because cheese doesn't give you any bonus, right? So if you eat this is gonna replace your bonus, so it's not as good as cheese. For pure fishing food, I would rate this like a 3 out of 10 or like a 4 out of 10 maybe. 3.5. Quite a long duration though. It basically lasts you for the rest of your day, but come on, do you need +1 fishing for like 16 minutes? Probably not. Next up on the list, dish of the sea. So dish of the sea, it needs sardine and hash browns. Sardine is everywhere basically, and it gives you 3 fishing for basically nothing. Hash browns, you can make them like basically on your first month if you upgraded your house quickly. So it's pretty easy to make. Sardine, you don't really sell them either. It gives decent fishing, decent energy. Energy is not really what you're looking for these dishes, but I would rate this quite high. It's maybe like 8 out of 10. Maybe one of your go-to food if you want to, you know, do fishing stuff. You do need to have recipes for hash brown though, which I think you can buy at the saloon. Next is escargot. Well, you need garlic first of all, so it's not very easy to make. Yeah, you need to be like a 2nd year plus. I believe garlic is only sold at Pierre for, you know, 2nd year and up. Snails are also quite annoying unless you play with crab pots. For some reason, I don't really do crab pots. Using those two for +2 fishing, good amount of energy, but it's quite a hassle to make, so I wouldn't recommend this. This is like a 2 out of 10. It's quite difficult to make. Next is fish stew. Fish stew costs a lot, like it gives 3 fishing for 16 minutes. You would be better off making 3 dishes of the sea. So the mussel and tomato part is easy, but the crayfish and periwinkle is like, unless you do a lot of crab pots and you have spare of these two, then sure, it's pretty simple. But if you're just normal fisher, you'd be better off making 3 of these instead of fish stew. So yeah, I would rate this like a 4 out of 10. Next up is a fish taco. Where is it? Ah, there you go. Fish taco costs tuna, tortilla, red cabbage, and mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is a processed egg. Tuna is quite rare. It's only available in a few seasons. I believe it's like fall and winter or something. Tortilla you would also need to, well, make right here. Again, corn. That's like 4 produce for +2 fishing. That's like not worth it at all. Red cabbage also available on the 2nd year unless you buy it from the wandering trader or like the traveling merchant, was it in the game? I'm wandering trader. Wandering trader is Minecraft. It's quite expensive to make, and it only gives 2 fishing for 7 minutes. That's like, I think this might be the worst food of all time for fishing. It's like, don't make this. Fish taco, no go. 1 out of 10. Next is lobster bisque. Again, if you have spare milk and spare lobster from crab pots, because that's the only way you can get lobster from, then yeah, it's pretty good. +3 fishing is like, you know, pretty good. And then +50 max energy is a good plus as well. You don't have to eat as often while, you know, fishing for a long time. So I would say this is pretty good. If you have any spare lobsters, just based on the perks it gives, 3 fishing, 50 max energy, and for 16 minutes as well. It's actually pretty good fishing food. The downside is just it's a little harder to make. Although if you do have a lot of crab pots placed on the ocean, then it wouldn't be hard. I would rate this quite high as well. It's like an 8 out of 10. The same with Dish of the Sea. Again, it's pretty situational, but you can only get this by year 2 Queen of Sauce or +9 hearts from Willy, so it's quite hard to obtain. Next up is Maple Bar. Maple Bar is a very versatile food. It gives farming, fishing, mining. It's like a, you know, if you want to do like either 3 of those. But if you're talking about fishing specifically, it's sugar and wheat flour is everywhere, and you can buy it Pierre, so it's pretty easy to get. Maple syrup is also easy to get from your tree farm if you do have a tree farm. So yeah, it's pretty simple to make. It gives a lot of energy, which is pretty good, but in terms of fishing alone, it only gives 1 fishing for 16 minutes, which is not that good. Just because it's easy to make and the energy it gives, I would give this like 4.5 out of 10. That's a pretty good spot. Next is seafoam pudding. It's pretty hard to make. Flounder is kind of rare-ish. It's not as common as sardines and other stuff like that. Midnight carp is only available in fall and winter at midnight, so it's very rare as well. Squid ink is also pretty rare because it only drops on like Squid Kid and I think the blue squid from the cheese trials. But it gives 4 fishing for 3 minutes, so if you want to get like bigger green bars to make it easier, or like further cast for, you know, specific place like that one part in the desert for the statue, you don't really gonna need this much fishing level. It's like a one of a time food kind of deal. Maybe you make it once and never again. Seafoam pudding's recipe is only available at level 9, so it's really just to get that level 14 fishing or plus. It's good, but you won't make this on your daily basis, so maybe like a 5 out of 10. Next is shrimp cocktail. Shrimp cocktail is pretty easy to get. In terms of fishing alone, I think it's pretty bad. And you can only get this recipe late game. It's on winter year 2 from Queen of Sauce, so you're not probably gonna have this until you're mid game to end game, so it's kind of bad. I would rate this maybe 3 out of 10. Next up is trout soup. Now trout soup is available to buy at Willy's, but it costs a rainbow trout to make. So if you're buying at Willy's, then it might be like okay to bad food. But if you're doing like a min-max fishing strat like what I did on my first ever Stardew video on fishing speedrun, then it's decent. But if you're making this, I wouldn't bother making this for a rainbow trout. I don't think for +1 fishing and 100 energy, it's bad soup, really. If you're buying this, it's a 4 out of 10. If you're making this, it's a 1 out of 10, maybe a 0 out of 10, I don't know. It's pretty bad. And then there's 5 other things that can only be obtained from the chef in the Desert Festival, which is a new event. So yeah, I wouldn't put them anywhere since yeah, it's basically like a unique item. So yeah, that's all about the fishing food, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.